and Chris. We're going over 814 Lanes and Games Johnstown high scores for the week of March 12th. We'll get started with the Sunday night mutts. Brian Klein with the high game, 214 scratch game. On the women's side, Ashley Zabura with a 159, Mindy Blair with a 161, and Janet Chippy with a 168 scratch game.
In the Monday morning Alley Cats League, Jackie Martinage had a 175 scratch game, Pam McCall had a 170 scratch game, and Janet Smith had a 168 scratch game.
Monday night Penelec League, Steve Petro with a handicap series, 654, and Charlie Kulik with a 209 scratch game.
In the Monday night Portage Area 10-pin League, Red M had a 247 handicap game with a 672 handicap series, and Gray P had a 235 handicap game with a 613 handicap series.
Last but not least, on Monday nights, the businessmen on the high lanes. Bill Vanette Jr., 244 game on his way to a 614 scratch series. Larry Parks, 253 game on his way to a 617 scratch series. And Sean Wonderling, 259 scratch game, 680 scratch series.
In the Tuesday morning Dogwood Hits League, Jane Shawley had a 161 handicap game. Right behind Jane was Lynn Delick with a 160 handicap game, and both Becky Boring and Sheila Freeman had 157 handicap games.
In our other Tuesday morning league, the toppers were topped by Bonnie Turner with a 210 scratch game, 545 scratch series. Also nice bowling by Patricia Barrett with a 190 game, and Bonnie Samuel with a 180 game.
In the Tuesday night 10 pins league on the men's side, Jared M had a 236 scratch game. Josh Bardo had a 221 scratch game with a 648 scratch series. Michael Hammers had a 214 scratch game. Dylan Richardson had a 270 handicap game with a 707 handicap series. Jared Evans had a 254 handicap game. And on the women's side, Mary Lou Murray had a 215 scratch game. Sue Palove had a 194 scratch game. Trish Williams had a 256 handicap game with a 702 handicap series.
On Tuesday nights in the Thursday night mixed league, Dave Harrison with a 205 game, and Bruce Thomas with a 211 game. Scott Stormer, a nice 617 handicap series, and Tammy Honkus with a 189 scratch game.
In the Wednesday morning Domestic Engineers League, Shirley Dickert had a 157 scratch game, and Pam Daniels had a 143 scratch game.
In the Shamrock League on Wednesday night, Mary Lou Murray again continuing her good bowling, the 162 scratch game. Kristen Stenger with a 192 scratch game. On the men's side, Kim Brister with a 200 game.
In the Wednesday Nighters Mixed League, on the men's side, Ben Miller had the highest scratch game of the week out of all the leagues with a 267 game, and Sam Walker had a 230 scratch game. And for the women's side, Terry G had a 266 scratch game with a 672 scratch series. Very great job, Terry. Barb Shark had a 177 scratch game with a 490 scratch series, and Melissa Sunday had a 160 scratch game.
Wednesday night Priority League, Larry Smith with a 224 game, Brandon G with a 224 game, and Barrett Wagner leading all bowlers with a 246 game on his way to a 644 series.
In the Thursday night Sportsman's League, Brad King had a 226 scratch game. Randy Wingard had a 225 scratch game with a 617 scratch series. Bill Freeward had a 222 scratch game with a 628 scratch series, and Keaton V had a 222 scratch game.
Jim Skiles was teaching the pins a lesson on Thursday night with a 226 scratch game and a 640 scratch series, followed by Jerry Thomas with a 215 and Sean Jacobs with a 213 game.
In the Friday Night Men's League, Bob Walters had a 258 scratch game with a 654 scratch series. Larry Parks had a 255 scratch game. Barrett Wagner had a 648 scratch series. And Jake M had a 238 scratch game with a 17 scratch series, in which the 710 scratch series by Jake was the highest series out of all the leagues for the week. So good job to Jake.
In the middle of the road league Friday nights, Ted Van Trova with a 213 game, Michael McLean with a 216 game, and Luke Cornrows with a 233 game, 641 series. On the women's side, Teresa Meyer with a 184 game, 514 series. Ginger Pollock, nice bowling with a 195 game, 518 series. And Kelly Cornrows with a 206 game, 525 series.
In the Friday Night Sandbaggers League, for the men's side, Paul Hoffer had a 244 scratch game. And on the women's side, Becky Freeman had a 185 scratch game.
In our youth league, Gavin with a 194 game, Brady with a 200 game, and Zach with a 210 game, and Liv with a 131 game. If you like our high scores updates or informational videos, like or subscribe to our YouTube page. You get automatic notifications when we post these. Until next week, good luck and high scores.